Like, she got a pair of Dickies, like they're just dark blue.
Yeah.
They are definitely women's because they're a bit higher waisted, and the pockets are so shallow that if I put my keys in there and even start to do a squat, like start to sit, they'll fall right out of the pocket. And this is the cross that women have to bear. But
Yep.
I wear these Dickies, and no one would know that they're women's.
Well, plus they're called Dickies, so.
That's right, they're not called vajays. Hello and welcome to Is This Good? The show where we boldly, conclusively, and scientifically decide what things in this big wide world are good. I'm Matt Austin, and with me, as always, is production powerhouse Jason Doyle.
Hello.
Hi, JD. Thanks for coming. And today's guest is a booked, busy, and beloved podcaster who moonlights as a personal fashion consultant. In the show notes, I will be leaving his phone number so you too can text him and ask where to buy baggy pants that won't look weird on a 42-year-old and how to procure a specific kind of Jordans that your nephew wants for his bar mitzvah. His rates are reasonable. Sign up now. From No Dunks, the oldest and best basketball podcast on the planet, the only person happy that Sufjan Stevens ended his 50 States project after Illinois, Trey Kerby, welcome back to Is This Good?
Hey, Illinois, still a classic, Matt. Really, really good. Never heard the follow-up, though, if you were able to find those shoes and if the sizing worked out for you.
Yes, so my nephew is, I was about to say getting married, but getting bar mitzvahed in December. And I asked him what he wanted. And what did he say? Oh, yeah, I asked him what he wanted, and he sent me a picture of a mouse that has buttons on the side, like a computer mouse. And I said, buddy, you're going to have to dream a little bigger here. This thing's like $12.99 on Amazon. I can't spend less than $20 on your bar mitzvah. Mm-hmm. So he said he wanted these Jordans. He's from North Carolina. It's called First in Flight, so they're the UNC colors. Mm-hmm. I believe Michael Jordan went to UNC. Is that correct?
That's factual.
Yeah, where he was cut from the team in his senior year.
They cut Michael Jordan senior year of college. They're like, we haven't seen enough yet.
We haven't seen enough. So keep dreaming, kids,
keep
okay?
Dreaming.
Just because you get cut from your team, just remember that Michael Jordan didn't even make the Bulls. He's actually sent to the D-League, even though that didn't exist at the time. And he came back when he was 48 years old, and that's when he won his 6th championship. So it can happen to anyone, really. Anyways, he wanted these pair of Jordans, and I couldn't find them because the only ones I could find the release was for women. And in the end, I just realized I could buy women's shoes.
Simple.
Yeah.
A man just buys women's shoes. You just got to know the conversion rate, minus 1.5 sizes.
But would you have worn something that was made specifically for girls or women when you were a kid? Because I once, for instance, got these rollerblades that were on sale, and they were much better than any rollerblade I had had prior to this. But here's the catch. They only had women's colorways, and they were like very purple and pink. And I, at the time, was like, fuck, these are so comfortable, and these are so much better. I don't care. My parents said they would buy them for me because they're on sale. I'm getting them. I wore those things maybe once, someone made fun of me, and never again.
Yeah, I mean, they really gender rollerblades for little kids, right? Like you're saying, they're going to be very purple. They're going to be very pink. The shoes you got for your nephew, they could go for men or for women. They're just a pair of, dark blue and light blue shoes. Why are those gendered in one way or the other? Anyways, when I was a kid, I probably would have felt a type of way about it. But now when I see Laura get a shirt that might fit me, I was like, ooh, hello. Let me try on that one. And look, if I could ever find a cool A-line skirt that really fits and is comfortable, I would be a little bit into that.
I mean, I know Laura is very tall, but not as tall as you. And I have to say that with Jill, I really do. We do have a 2 wardrobe situation here. Like, she got a pair of Dickies, like they're just dark blue.
Yeah.
They are definitely women's because they're a bit higher waisted, and the pockets are so shallow that if I put my keys in there and even start to do a squat, like start to sit, they'll fall right out of the pocket. And this is the cross that women have to bear. But I wear these Dickies, and no one would know that they're women's.
Well, plus they're called Dickies, so.
That's right. They're not called vajays.
Genies.
Also, remember in the 2000s, a lot of guys I knew were buying women's jeans because they were shorter, not like shorter length, but the waist was lower, which was the sorry to be
low rise, yeah,
which was the style at the time, and they were more tapered and tighter when we were all strokified and trying to get our tightest jeans. So there are use cases for buying women's clothes, but I do feel like it's all more fluid now. Or is that just me looking at the younger generation with idealized eyes?
I think you're right on both counts. Things are meeting in the middle more often, and people are definitely more fluid with the clothes they will choose to wear.
But now, what if you, like a big sneakerhead, sees, like, let's just say you're 13 years old. You see my nephew in the playground, and you're going, wait a second. The First in Flights have only been released for women. And these are new. How does he have them? That means this guy's wearing women's shoes. Now they call him old narrow toes.
Oh, I'm calling him girl foot for sure. No doubt about that. I'm going to be a schoolyard bully if I get the chance. But that's only because I don't want people looking at my tiny feet and noticing how little they look. They're like, you should be wearing these lady shoes. I might actually start wearing women's shoes so I can wear a 13.
Well,
yeah, these are 13s now. You guys thought it was funny when I was an 11 and a half.
Is this like the Disney vault? Remember when Disney would be like, you can only see the Lion King, for the next 3 months, and then we're putting it in the vault. Mm-hmm. Is that why they're only releasing these shoes as women's shoes when clearly they're, at least at one point, were men's shoes or could be men's shoes?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't actually understand the concept behind it, because there are definitely some Jordans that will release and they'll have everything from like infant sizes up through adult men's sizes. But then some are just grade school only. Some are, women's release only, even though they're all the same shoe and they could make them in different sizes. I'm sure it's just we got data. Who's going to be buying the satin shoes? Maybe it's more likely women, but some of the satin shoes are the coolest ones. Who knows?
What do you mean, shoes made out of satin?
Yeah, like take a Michael Jordan shoe, and instead of leather on the outside, it's like a shiny satin. They've done that before, and they're usually women releases, but, the men that can fit into them are buying them.
Is that Nike X Isotoner?
Yeah, it is, actually.
Do you think, I guess probably most NBA players could dunk in slippers?
I think you're probably right. I bet 90% of the players who can dunk could then dunk in slippers. It would be a guy like, I don't know. I don't even know if he can dunk anymore, but Kyle Lowry is probably like just on the verge of being able to dunk if he is. If you put him in a slipper, it's going to be way harder.
That's right. Well, it's always a dunk contest thing. Was it Gerald Green? Someone always takes off their shoes. And it's like, that's right. I'm dunking in the Vibrams.
I mean, I think it's only happened the one time. The guy went barefoot dunking, but we had Cole Anthony wore a pair of Timberlands upon a time. So changing up the footwear, there's definitely some more depth to be plumbed there.
Okay. So I had to ask you this question because we're going to do unpopular opinions later, but I came across this one. I wanted to bring it up now off the top because Halloween is over, but it's Monday. It's fresh in our minds still. And this is an unpopular opinion I saw that I think you might have something to say about. Giant Halloween skeletons aren't cool anymore. This person says, a few years ago, only a few people I knew had them in their yards. Now everyone has them. You know what I'm talking about, that giant 10-plus foot skeleton or the ones riding dog skeletons. It's just not unique anymore. Correct me if I'm wrong. You have one of these?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, and agree or disagree that they're not cool anymore?
Well, I would disagree with this person who says everybody has one, because clearly this person doesn't have one and is jealous that they haven't been able to lock down the 12-foot skeleton yet. Look, they're definitely more prevalent. It used to be you would see one on your various trips around the city and you knew where it was located. Now you might see 5 of them. And you go to Home Depot and they've got not just the 12-foot skeleton, but they've got all these crazy inflatables that are 14 to 16 feet tall. I saw a 20-foot tall Michael Myers recently. It was incredible, man. Yeah. It was so awesome.
A 20-foot tall Michael Myers?
It was 2 stories tall, inflatable. It was so big, looked so cool that I was like...
I'd be worried that he would, puncture it with his knife.
Yeah, that is definitely a worry. He's a slasher. I have seen it deflated once, looked really sad over the shrubs just laying there. But then he pumps up and he's excited. Look, once things get popular, some people are going to turn on them, but I will never give up my 12-foot skeleton. I put it up this year, and I told Laura, I was like, one of my favorite things about being a homeowner is getting to put this skeleton up every single year.
It looks cool. Yours looks amazing. And you have the Grateful Dead, like, flower crown or whatever on it. It looks awesome. I think they're great. They're the same as Christmas trees at Christmas time for me. Like every house should have one. They look great. They're awesome. It's the best Halloween decoration. And I was watching TNT yesterday in the halftime show. They've got 2 on either side of the monitors. It's the only time I've seen those things look small.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Because that's a huge studio.
And those are big guys.
Yeah. I saw
the skeletons or the men at the desk.
Both, all of it.
That's a good point. I'd love to see Shaq next to a 12-foot skeleton because at the beginning of Starting Five, like one of the very first things you see in Starting Five, the Netflix NBA documentary, it starts on Halloween, like LeBron's Halloween party. He's got a 12-foot skeleton in front of his house. I was impressed. I don't know if he put it up. Probably a guy did it for him, but it's easy.
He has a guy. His is probably made out of real bones, like that they dug up.
He's got the premium version
from a pet cemetery.
Yeah.
Now, it's funny you mentioned basketball because there is a connection to the 12-foot skeleton. So I did a tiny bit of research. This thing came out in 2020 because I wanted to see like how long it's been around and if it is truly as ubiquitous as this guy says it is. It was only supposed to be around for a year or two, but it keeps selling out, and so they've brought it back. This is the 5th season they've had it, and the interesting thing is they started with a height of 10 feet. It was going to be a 10-foot skeleton, but they settled on 12 feet. So, quote, and this is the guy that developed it, "We want it to be so big the skeleton could be looking down on a basketball hoop."
Wow.
Fascinating.
Why?
I mean,
why was that a requirement? We need this skeleton.
Why are you asking that question?
That's a good
point.
They know
that a lot of people in the suburbs are going to have a basketball hoop in their driveway. Basketball hoop is 10 feet. The skeleton's not going to look impressive if it's eye to eye with the backboard. They want it to be... I mean, look, a 10-foot thing is still impressive. If your eye is at the rim, that means you could dunk. Unless you're a T-Rex, you can dunk. Yeah. So I think that's equally impressive. But it's 12 feet for that reason.
Wow.
And I just wanted to tell you that.
They want it to be the biggest thing in your yard that's not nature.
Right.
That's right. Now, are you going to do the thing where you leave it out there and put a Santa hat on it? Like, convert it to a Christmas decoration?
I want to. I want to have something for all seasons. But at the very least, I'm just going to try and extend it a little bit too far into November. And then who knows, maybe throw a pilgrim hat on there. Next thing you know, December's coming around. Throw the Santa hat on like you're saying. Put a diaper on it. Suddenly it's the New Year's baby. Then we'll give it an arrow. It's Cupid. Just like that. Put a chief hat on it. It's St. Patrick's Day. I'm almost to Easter already. This is easy.
Throw it in a tree. It's Arbor Day. The possibilities are endless.
It was sad this year. We had the hurricane came through, Hurricane Helene, and I had already put up my 12-foot skeleton in the middle of September. I thought it was a little bit late to be putting it up, but, the winds were coming, the rains were coming. I had to take the skeleton down and just lay it on our front lawn, just laying there. That's how I said people in the neighborhood would know it was safe to come back out. Once the skeleton has been raised, it's safe out here.
You got bungee cords across it, hammering it in with stakes like it's a tent.
I covered its face with a towel. Laura's like, "Why did you do that?" I was like, I don't want its eyes to get wet.
They light up, right?
Yeah, they got like an LED screen in there, but then she's like, "Yeah, but once it starts raining, the towel's going to get wet and soak its eyes anyways." I kind of waterboarded my own skeleton's eyes is what ended up happening, but they still work.
Well, with the ubiquity of these things and the fact that they come out around hurricane season, there needs to be a scene in like Twisters 2 or 3, I suppose, where someone's like, the hurricane is starting and they're looking out the window and they're like, "How bad is it?" And the person's like peering on, they're like, "Not so bad," and then like a jump scare, like boom, a giant fucking 12-foot skeleton just comes through their window or something.
I love it.
Make it happen. All right, some quick housekeeping. If you'd like to support the show and get exclusive content, go to patreon.com/isthisgood. Now, Trey, last Thursday's show, that was Patreon only. So if you want to hear it, you got to sign up. You got to support the show. And it's the only place you'll hear us talk about how I ruined a sexy Halloween costume. Mm-hmm. You'll be able to hear about my $1 billion spooky app idea, how I was this close to writing K-pop hits in Korea. JD explained a Star Wars meme to me that's confused me for at least like 5-6 years. Mm-hmm. We traveled back in time to the Wild West. We got granted 3 wishes from a genie. And maybe most importantly, JD gave us a list of every famous dog he's ever met.
So, which is more than you think.
Well, it's more than 1 and less than 3.
That's right.
I'd say, unless you forgot, unless you thought of one since.
No.
So if you want to know all the famous dogs that JD's met. Actually, what did we say? Did you meet Spud McKenzie?
Not Spud McKenzie.
You did not meet Spud. No. So it's still 2.
Yeah.
Hey, if you've met more than 2 famous dogs, write in an email. Let us know and let us know who they were. If you can do the Rin Tin Tin Lassie Benji triumvirate, wow.
You're old.
Man.
You're very old. Get your prostate checked. You also get ad-free episodes, access to our thriving community on Discord, and live stream hangouts. And of course, you could send topics for future shows to isthisgoodpod@gmail.com. Subscribe on YouTube. Trey, the premise of the show is very simple. I'll give you a topic. You tell me if you think it's good. Postcards. We know them. We know what they are. Right? Postcards, we're all familiar?
Yes. I know about them.
Okay, I'll describe it to you briefly. It's a piece of paper that's about a third the size of like an 8.5 by 11, and it's thick.
It's thick,
so it doesn't get damaged in the mail. Here's what this person wrote. This is from Corey in Paris. Hi, guys. Obviously, it's a very thoughtful thing to send a postcard. However, the ones I've been receiving the last few years leave me feeling nothing. First of all, these postcards are from friends. There's a lot of funny things in this email. If you want to jump in at any time.
Nothing? Nothing?
He feels nothing. He gets a postcard, he rips it in half. First of all, these postcards are from friends I typically speak with frequently and whose location I'm already aware of thanks to social media. So the images on the card simply do not surprise me.
I already knew you were there.
Eiffel Tower? Yeah, I could have predicted that.
Yeah, I knew you were going to Paris a long time ago. You told me when you booked the trip.
All right, next, modern people's handwriting has gotten so bad I can barely make out the words. Plus, postcards rarely provide enough space for anything more than a cordial salutation, so the text is always bleeding messily onto parts of the card not intended for writing purposes. So in the end, I don't even usually read them. Moreover, it's often the case that I've corresponded with or even seen these friends within the time it takes for the postcard to arrive, so it ends up feeling like this weird time-delayed secret. And to clarify, it's not that I feel jealous of their travels. Editor's note, don't put in the newspaper that I was mad about their travels. I guess this all comes down to the fact that receiving postcards makes me feel like I have some sort of emotional debt towards the sender that I didn't ask for, and that certainly wasn't worth it in the way that, say, receiving a gift might be. Best wishes, Corey in Paris. So, I mean, a lot of interesting points, I'll say. I kind of agreed knee-jerk, like, yeah, postcards, like, do we need them? But I feel like Corey went so hard at postcards that I feel like I want to defend them now. Trey, where do you stand on this?
I'm with you. I was going to say I don't really have strong feelings either way on postcards, but the fact that Corey is so anti-postcard makes me feel like I need to take up for postcards. This guy's saying basically he wants a souvenir from his friends instead of simply a photo that they find and send along. The big thing that I agree with is that postcards can be better, especially in the way that, like, if you mail a postcard, it should immediately be like expedited shipping to get there as soon as possible, a sort of overnight thing, because it can be weird to go on your trip, return home, and then the postcard shows up. That feels like something from a bygone era. And we should be able to handle these things a lot quicker here. But man, I'm not sure what Corey's expecting from these things. You're getting a photo on the front that's going to be one of the most popular attractions of whatever place you're visiting, right? Like, they're not going for the
boobies,
deep cuts
or it's going to be like
sandy butts, maybe.
It's going to be butts, yeah. If you're going to a beach, it's going to be a sandy butt. If you, like in Florence, when I was there, for instance, probably the most popular postcard is just a close-up of David's penis, sometimes with sunglasses over it.
Cool.
I definitely saw ones with the face of David with these two peace fingers on the side of the mouth with his tongue out going like, ah. Like,
that's for peace is what that is?
Yeah, that's
peace.
I thought it was something completely different.
I didn't know that.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
It's peace. And a lot of people say, well, if you're saying peace, why are you sticking your tongue out and going, ah? Well, sometimes we need to achieve peace through strength.
That's right.
I mean, obviously, to me, the main issue of the postcard is you can't write anything on it, both because there's no space to write anything on it, but also because there's no privacy. Or is that not a concern for anyone?
Oh, you think people at the post office are reading your postcards? They could. They definitely
could.
Yeah.
Hey, Tina, come over here. This guy Trey in Paris wishes his friend was here.
Yeah, is that it? Like, is it this simple for Corey? All you got to do is take a photo of the Eiffel Tower and say, "Wish you were here," and that's good. He said, and then he drops a thumbs up emoji on you. That's the simple friendship connection that Corey is looking for. Not you went across the world. You took 40 seconds out of your checkout procedure to get the card that's right there. You spent another 40 seconds writing my name and address, and then you mailed it. I didn't look at the picture because I already knew you were there, and then on the back it was too sloppy, so I didn't even read it. Corey's mad because he's getting extra garbage.
How much do you not have to care about something or someone to not even try and decipher what they've said? Just be like, turn around and be like, no. It's the sorry, but not reading all that thing, but it's only one sentence.
Yeah. I gotta say, I mean, I'm not the biggest postcard fan, but I'm certainly more of a fan than Corey is. And I just like getting mail. It's still nice to get mail. I don't know why. You know, most of the time.
It's hard to send mail, too. Corey's acting like this person put in no effort. Never mind the buying and the writing. The sending is the hardest part. Like, you gonna wait in line at a post office on your precious vacation time?
Exactly. We're talking about love. Like, this is, you have to love somebody to send a postcard to them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, on your vacation, you are walking the streets of Florence and you think of somebody, you buy a postcard, you write a message, a brief message, yes, but still a message.
A missive, perhaps.
A missive. You hit it with a stamp and you have to find a post box somewhere. You love that person.
Yeah.
I would be so touched to get a postcard from somebody in this day and age. In any day and age.
I'm with you, JD. It's cool to get you. It's kind of unexpected, just because I feel like postcards probably aren't as prevalent as they used to be. The text message certainly is more common. Would you rather get, JD, like a silly one, like a Sandy Butts, or would you rather get like, welcome to Minneapolis, and Minneapolis has all of the sites or like all of the sites of Minneapolis in the letters?
Yeah, no, I would prefer Sandy Butts for sure. Yeah, but I'm not going to sneeze at a Minneapolis with all the sites on it. I mean, why not? It's great. Come on, Corey.
By the way, Trey, great fake name, Sandy Butts.
Sandy Butts. There's got to be somebody named that out there.
There's got to be a woman out there named Sandy Butts, or a man. You never know. In the 1 second of research I did, I thought this was interesting because I wanted to know, like, when was the first postcard? Like, when did this idea come about? It says, a Prussian postal official first proposed an open post sheet made of stiff paper in 1865. He proposed that one side would be reserved for an address and the other side for a brief message. His proposal was denied on the grounds of it being too radical, and officials did not believe that anyone would willingly give up their privacy. Wow. Isn't it fucking crazy how... I think of like the all great truths begin as blasphemies, or like all ideas begin as someone going like, no, that's way too crazy. Even a postcard, a piece of paper was once considered way too crazy. That's how far we've come in this world. But I might have been voting against this guy was named Heinrich von Stefan. And what a trivia question if that ever came up. What Prussian postal official first proposed a postcard in 1865? I believe it was Heinrich von Stefan.
Wow. That's going in the vault.
Innovator.
That's going in the vault. But I probably would have said too, Heinrich, you're fucking crazy, man. Yeah. Why would anyone...
Totally.
We've invented the paper. We've invented the envelope. I mean, otherwise, you could fold a piece of paper like this,
Yeah, just mail a letter.
You could write the address there, and you could just mail... Or could you do that?
Can you mail a letter? Yeah.
Could you mail paper? No, can you mail paper?
Just paper.
Like just folded up paper, not in an envelope?
Correct.
I'm guessing no. I don't know. I don't know why. I don't know. Okay. I don't know. It's too flimsy.
It's too controversial.
It's not going to hold up in the shipping.
It's too radical.
It's going to jam up the franking machine or whatever it's called.
Can't sort it.
We said the fact that it comes home after... it comes after you've gotten home, it doesn't really bother you. This is a very long email, but he was I took this up, but he was complaining that one guy sent him a postcard. Then that guy came back, he went out for drinks with that guy, and that guy never mentioned anything about the postcard. And then 3 days later, he got the postcard, and he didn't know.
So what? What's the problem? I don't get it. I don't get that.
He's like, I already saw you. Just tell me about the postcard. Maybe the other guy was sitting there being like, Corey's being really rude. He's not bringing up the postcard that I sent.
And he never even bothered to say, hey, did you get my postcard? I guess that's a problem.
I don't know.
That's a problem.
And now, on the topic of making you jealous of travel, because maybe that before the internet, that was a thing. Like, hey, I want you to see the Eiffel Tower. Look how beautiful it is at night with all the lights lighting it up. Now, obviously, we have Instagram. Does that make you jealous of people's travels, Trey?
Seeing where they're going?
No, seeing like the daily barrage of photography from wherever you are.
I wouldn't
from
say...
From wherever your friends are.
I actually appreciate it because I feel like people have gotten away from boomer posting on Instagram where you're like, here's literally what I'm doing right now. I'm going to put it on Instagram. Now you're like considering, how does this fit in on my feed? How did I make this? How can I make it funny? Blah, blah, blah. All this kind of stuff. Way more thought is going into it as it's become a huge social media network that we're getting away from the, here's something going on. I just wanted you to know that this happened. So I appreciate it, seeing that. I think I don't get jealous about that kind of stuff. More like I'm like, oh, that looks sick. I would like to go there.
Yeah. Can we come up with, like, when you travel, to a foreign country and come back, they have, like, rules on how much booze you could bring back. Like, I remember in Canada, it was, like, if you've been gone for 2 or more days, you could bring back 1 bottle of wine. If it's this, you can bring back this much, whatever. Amount of time you're gone versus amount of pictures you can post. Like, if you're gone for 1 weekend, I think you can post 1 story per day, and then when you come back, you can post something on your grid. A collection of everything. And that's it.
I mean, that seems like that seems like a reasonable amount.
Sure.
Some people are posting way too many stories. Like, I'm not even catching up. Like, they're in Amsterdam. I'm still in Berlin,
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. I've got a friend who's in Japan right now, and you look at the top of his stories, and it's just like, they're the tiniest things ever. It's hard to keep up with your peeps like that. Yeah. But I don't know.
Shout out to Mo Verney. Shout out to Mo Verney in Japan. Mo Verney, were you smoking a cigarette? We were looking at your feed trying to figure it out.
That's what I want to know. Did it actually touch your lips? But I don't know. How do you feel about the carousel post on Instagram? When they came out, I was like, this is ridiculous. You don't need to be posting 10 photos at the same time. And now I'm kind of like, it's a nice way to just get the photos out that you have.
I love the monthly dumps that you do, Trey. That sounded not good.
Thank you.
Very unhealthy, if you ask me.
Yeah. more than once a month. But yeah, no, I like the carousel thing if it's used properly. So yeah.
Yeah, I think it's good because it collects and you don't have to keep doing it. It's like, it should stand for the whole trip. If you're gone for more than 2 weeks, I'll give you 2 dumps.
2 dumps allowed.
But other than that, less than 2 weeks,
in
1
Italy.
Yeah, I 1 dumper for me. All right, Corey, lighten up, man. Okay, postcards, are they the best thing ever? But you're being too much on the postcards.
You want another campaign ad in your mailbox, Corey? That's the problem.
Corey lives in Paris, though. He's not getting campaign
Oh,
ads.
right.
Go-to thing to write on a postcard. There's only one thing worth writing, and that is, weather is here, wish you were beautiful.
Nice one. Write it on every postcard. That'd be great.
And you know what's cool when you write a postcard? You can write diagonally. You know that move? Because you're just like writing sort of one sentence. You don't write like left to right specifically. You just write
That's so
left
cool, man.
corner to top right corner. Take it from me. That's how you do postcarding. All right, Trey, when people need help navigating life's biggest decisions, they seek our wise counsel. We deliver an airtight verdict. It's time to settle this. All right, hi, Matt and JD. And Trey, I'm just going to pretend they said that. Our family of 4 recently moved to a new city, and I now work from home while my wife's commute is about an hour each day. Now that she's commuting so much, she wants to get an e-vehicle, which I think is great. The vehicle she's looking at is a sportier car and comfortably fits 5, but it's something that she's wanted for a while, and I want her to get the car she deserves. I am somewhat of a car guy, and even though I have an SUV, I would like to get something a little sportier, possibly also an e-vehicle. I don't know why I'm saying e-vehicle so weird, but
like you've never heard of them
else?
Before. These e-vehicles.
I call them
EVs.
Yeah, EV. Yeah.
Or electric cars. I'm not really sure I've heard e-vehicles, but anyways, I digress. However, when the subject of me eventually replacing my car comes up, she has already penciled me in for a, quote, family hauler. Her position is that our family needs a larger vehicle for road trips, getting larger items from the store, or to have a third row of seats in case we need to drive our boys and their friends around. When I push back on driving this big-ass car, she acts like a martyr and says that if it's a big deal, she'll abandon her own vehicular ambitions and get the family hauler for her vehicle, making me look like an asshole. Settle this. Should I set aside my vehicular ambitions? Again, only phrase weirder than e-vehicle is vehicular ambitions. The only thing that comes after vehicular is homicide, as far as I know. Should I set aside my vehicular ambitions and accept my fate as a driver of the family hauler? And does the fact that she brings in a larger share of our family income change that calculus? Driving me crazy. That's from Kevin.
Wow. I mean,
Trey,
this one I feel like is a tricky one, especially when you get to the end and you're talking about like salaries.
Well,
I feel a little unqualified to be judging from that standpoint. I would say put away your vehicular ambitions because a lot can change in the course of time. Like, it's not surprising that this person's wife would want an e-vehicle going forward. You know, they're more and more prevalent every day. They're becoming more affordable and that kind of stuff. It saves you money on gas, better for the environment. There's a lot of reasons to want an EV, definitely. But who knows what's going to happen the next time they need a car. And they're eyeing the family hauler. Because I do kind of agree. You want to have a family hauler if you've got some kids. That's why we've got a third row SUV. But when it came time for us to get a new car, it was the pandemic and there were like no used cars around. It was hard to find ones that were affordable and the kind you were looking for. So we were kind of at the mercy of the inventory that was around. I don't think that we would have necessarily chosen what we chose at the time. We wouldn't have chose that today, probably. I mean, who knows? But I would just say, do what's making your wife happy at the beginning. Happy house, happy spouse, happy house. I like that saying. And then when the time comes, maybe you will want a family hauler, and maybe you can get the cool family hauler. You can say, I'm not going for the Sienna, give me the Highlander or something like that, you know? Like, you can get the coolest dad vehicle you possibly can. It ain't gonna be cool, but it might be better than a minivan if that's what he's trying to avoid.
Yeah, Kevin, grow up. Who needs a cool car? You're a dad of 2.
He's a car guy.
He's a car guy.
Come on now.
Maybe there'll be cool family
I have no
haulers.
sympathy for car people. I have no sympathy for car people. And I don't know, JD, are you a car guy? You like driving fast, but does that mean you're a car guy?
I mean, I like nice cars, but I've never really had one. But
at the peak of having 2 children, you literally got the smallest car available.
Yeah, that was a lease,
a Mini Cooper.
And I returned it when the lease ran out. That was a cool car. That was the coolest car I've ever had.
Did you feel cooler though? Like, did the dads dap you up?
People were jealous of my car, for sure. Absolutely.
Because they were driving a Ford Windstar.
Yeah, and I was driving a Mini Cooper with a convertible, and
cool.
I had very small children, so they fit in the back, but then the lease ran out and they couldn't fit in there.
What about their hockey duffel bags?
Yeah,
like
nothing fit in that car. Nothing fit in that car. But that was what I loved about it. It was like a postcard. The postcard of vehicles. You couldn't write anything on the postcard. You can't put anything in the car, which is great. It's the best thing about it.
Stays clean.
Exactly.
But if you get the smaller car, the smaller, sportier car, do you just get out of driving the kids? Like, are you just known as, JD's not the dad to ask if we need to, get our kids to soccer practice or something?
100% you get out of it.
So then that's worth it. That's worth it, isn't it?
Yeah, but you also want to take family vacations sometimes, and everybody has to pile in a car. So, I mean, Kevin just unfortunately has to take one for the team this time. It has nothing to do with the fact that your salary is less than your spouse. It has to do with the fact that you work from home and you don't drive. Your wife drives 2 hours a day. She gets to drive the cooler, nicer, smaller, more fuel-efficient car, and you're stuck with the family hauler. And by the way, as my kids grew, your kids will grow as well, and then you won't need a family hauler anymore. So you get the hauler, and then you trade it in for the sexy sports car when your kids are out of the house or driving themselves. I mean, yeah, like Trey said, things change. So get the hauler.
Get the hauler.
Get the hauler. I totally agree. I mean, yes. And in fact, if you're asking me, I do believe that the fact that she buys a larger share of the family income changes the calculus. Actually, does it? I don't know. Because, well, if she buys it, say this, you got to buy me the car. Buy me the car and I'll drive it. I'm not putting any of my money that we completely separate.
You want me to have a hauler? You buy it then.
Yeah, you want a fucking hauler? You buy it. Now, when we were kids, you had the station wagon was the first hauler with the flatbed bench in the back in the trunk, right?
Yep.
Then we had vans, and kind of like you said, Trey, there's so many cooler options. Like I just Googled cars that fit 6+ people, which I guess is that enough to say a family hauler, right? Because a sedan fits 5 technically, right? So I said 6+. There were so many fucking cars, and they looked. I mean, do they look cool? I mean, does an SUV look cool? I guess some people think so, but there's like dozens upon dozens of different cars you can get, which were not the case when I was a kid. So, Kevin, your wife makes $1 billion. She's gonna buy you the car.
Yeah, I would argue we're in kind of a double hauler situation. I drive the Volkswagen wagon, which is a wagon, an early hauler when our kids were smaller hauler, and then the Highlander, which is a third row, a bit of a hauler as well. But Kevin, like things are getting better, you know. The Rivian, it looks cool as an e-vehicle. Eventually, they're going to have the Volkswagen bus come out. I'm like, that's a cool hauler, if you ask me. And honestly, you're going to get some turns to drive your wife's sexy non-hauler. You're going to get a chance to be in that little Miata cruising around or whatever it may be. It'll work out in the long run.
That's right. Now, my only comment is, if you get a van, I mean, are people still getting vans? You don't really... Is this wrong to say that you don't see vans as much as you used to?
I see them all the time.
Yeah, there's a lot of
vans
them all
around.
the time. Okay. You're just not in van zones.
Yeah.
Okay, the auto van door has to go. It's too confusing, and it's annoying.
Interesting.
Yeah, I'm tired of getting yelled at by Uber drivers, Trey, for being polite and closing the door, and then they're like, it's automatic! I'm like, and it gets stuck in the middle and goes, I just want to walk away. I don't want to slam that thing.
You want the big slider back.
There's no more fun door to close.
That's
Name me a more fun door to close.
I guess that was the number one door. I mean, I've never opened like a Lamborghini door, which seems to be high on the list as well. But
suicide
doors,
door.
Yeah.
Anyways, Kevin, you're getting a big ass car.
Enjoy it.
Oh yeah, you can put everything in it.
No longer will your car make you feel cool. Sorry. You're a loser now, Dad. Trey, not everyone's going to agree with everything you have to say. Sometimes you have to stand alone on the edge of popular consensus. It's time for unpopular opinions. All right, got some good ones here for you. First one, material things are worth more than memories or experiences. Okay, I've done quite.
Respect. I don't agree, but I think that's an awesome take. I like things more than doing stuff and people. That's a legit take.
Yeah, I think this person has some good reasoning here. I've done quite a few things in my life, traveled a lot, tried a lot of different experiences, and it was great and all, but I'm always surprised and sad when I realize I've forgotten a lot of the things I did. Like, I don't feel they made me a better, different person, and they were fleeting moments. I'm relatively young, and I've already forgotten so many things I did. What the fuck am I going to remember when I'm 60 plus? But if I have a nice watch, car, or whatever, that'll stay with me much longer than a 3-day weekend in France, where I'll stand in front of the Eiffel Tower and send someone a postcard.
Well, send yourself a postcard so you can remember these.
That's what it sounds like. We got a perfect solution here. I keep forgetting all this awesome stuff I'm doing. How could I possibly remember? Mail yourself a postcard. On the back it says, remember this, and that's it. They're like, we went there. Yeah. We did go there. Put
He's
it in
looking at the back of the postcard. Remember this. He turns it around. It's David's penis. He's like, God damn it.
I thought it would be funny to send this one.
I got myself again. Obviously, this is an unpopular opinion, and any article you've read in the last 10, 15 years is like, the secret to happiness is experiences, not things, or like, millennials believe that are spending more money on experiences, not things, and now that home ownership is out of reach, and blah, 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 blah. But this he's flipping the script and saying that when he sits down on his beautiful couch, looking at his beautiful television, telling the time with his beautiful watch, he feels something more than trying to remember that hazy 3-day weekend in France when he was 21. Does this resonate with you at all?
Okay, I'll say it resonates 5%. Who doesn't like having things, right? Like, you go on a trip, you buy a souvenir. You got a thing, and it helps you remember what is happening. As I get older, though, I feel like the more money I spend on experiences to do, I do have better memories of that than like, oh man, I wasted $60 on this shirt that I never wear anymore. You know, it's sitting in the basement storage unit. I was like, I thought this was cool when I got it the very first time. Suddenly it's just stuff piling up. So, I mean, of course I like to have things. But I mean, it is all about the experiences in the long run. But look,
but you say this is a man that his eyes lit up when I brought up your 12-foot skeleton.
Unforgettable memory, though. Remember when we had that 12-foot skeleton? That's a family member.
Yeah.
And it's an experience, like every year I get to put it up, get excited about it, you know, say hello to it every time that we leave the house, get back to the house. There's no doubt. There's a lot of things I like to have, but as I'm getting older, I'm liking things less and less and caring more about getting to do stuff and then hopefully remembering it. I mean, he's right. At the end of the day, you can't take it with you, and that goes for both memories and for stuff because you're dead. When you're dead, you're not taking your memories with you. You literally could, though, take an Apple Watch. Put my Apple Watch on me. I loved that thing. I was always keeping track of my activity.
Interesting. I would say put my Apple Watch on my ankle, so that when grave robbers come, they look at my wrist, they see nothing. They're not checking my ankle. Right. What kind of a man wears an anklet? No one, I don't think. I got my house arrest ankle monitor on my right and my Apple Watch on my left. Keep me safe.
They'll never know which one to take.
Keep me safe.
I mean, you don't know. Wearables could be very fashionable in the future on the ankles, and that's the first place they check.
God damn it! All right, I'll swallow it. Fine. I have to say the 5% that I feel is when I was just in Europe, I did miss my TV. Because I didn't watch a single frame of television when I was gone. Yeah. But it's so funny to me when you go to a hotel room in Europe, the screen looks like a computer monitor from 1997. It's like, why does this even need to be in here? Right. I mean, I never even turned it on. It probably has 0 channels anyway. But I was like, you know what? We had just bought a large TV after like 15 years of owning the world's smallest TV that was still bigger than any TV in Europe. Yeah, that's right. I had a bigger TV than anyone in Europe. Wow. Try to prove me wrong. I missed it.
You were on vacation reminiscing about the new, bigger TV you just got?
That's right. It's a 60-inch OLED, baby. Wow. You see my O face?
That's pretty cool, man. That actually is good.
But when you think about it, I was missing the experience of sitting down on the couch with my best girl. Really, that's in my home. That's what I was missing. The experience,
sure. The coziness. I'll say the thing I think, the experience that I think is the biggest bang for your buck, and I'm never disappointed to have spent money on it, or maybe even too much money the way things are going, is concert tickets. Because it's kind of like a mini travel plan to have, because you're like, I've got something on the calendar, I'm going somewhere to do something. It's only one night for the majority of concerts, but it's a great experience. And for me, at least, like, I always leave thinking like, we saw Dead & Company at the Sphere. That was a lot of money to go there, and we left, and I was like, it was worth every dollar. I would do it again in a second, because we got to see an awesome show. It was just me and Laura, you know, like, it was a fun moment for us too. So that to me is something I think is super worth it.
Okay, what about this though? concerts I can almost agree with you, even though they're getting insanely expensive, and I don't even want to talk about what I paid for Oasis tickets at the Rose Bowl when they're probably not going to even make it here.
You might get a refund.
Yeah, that's true. I might get a refund. Yeah. Honestly, it wasn't that insane. It was an insane, but it wasn't that insane. But I just recently ran into this thing where, because the Dodgers are in the World Series, and well, by the time you hear this, they may have won. Who knows? But Game 1, friends and I were talking about maybe going. We were looking at like the secondary market, and tickets were like in the thousands, the cheapest tickets. And then the day of, found some for like $750. And my friend was like, "It just dropped. Let's go." And I think he was ultimately joking, but I was like, there's 0% chance. There's no way I would spend that much money on a sporting ticket, because in baseball, like you see, it's like one game that our home team could lose 10-2. And it could be over by the 7th inning or whatever. And that, but in the end, what I'm trying to say is the guy, Freddie Freeman, hits a fucking grand slam walk-off home run. Mm-hmm. It was this amazing thing. And then I was like, damn, mate, would that have been worth it? I still think no. I still don't think that's almost $1,000 worth of memories, but...
No, it would have definitely
I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong.
100%.
Okay. Well, thanks for making me feel bad.
All right.
A last-second sporting event, though, I think is a little bit different than if, like you're saying, like you're going to Oasis. You've got that to look forward to. I love having something on the calendar to look forward to, but like an impromptu, we're dropping $1,000 to go see. Like, you're not a big Dodgers fan.
No.
I've seen you wear a hat.
Even though I'm wearing this... Oh, I'm not wearing the hat.
Wrong hat.
The one day I'm not wearing that stupid hat.
But yeah, I don't know. It might have been worth it, but you also, if it went the other way, you'd be like, oh, that was definitely not worth it.
Exactly.
Bigger risk. Like I went and saw, I saw My Morning Jacket last year. I was super excited. I'd never seen them before, and they were on my list of bands I wanted to see. And they were okay. Like, I was honestly a little bit disappointed, but I was still happy to have finally saw them and to be there and liking the songs I did like.
Mm-hmm. Moving on here, sand is the best playground surface material. It seems like every new playground is built with something other than sand, and I hate it. Sand is better than every alternative I've seen. Sand is soft and breaks falls. Liquid messes are mostly self-cleaning. It doesn't get soggy in the rain. It doesn't make your clothes dirty. It's not a choking hazard. When it inevitably gets tracked out of the playground, it's not harmful to the environment. It's a toy in and of itself. Every recess I spent in a sand playground as a kid, there was always someone building or digging. I think this is fucking crazy. Am I wrong? I mean, you guys have kids. You've seen more playgrounds more recently, but I don't think anything this guy's saying is correct. It doesn't get soggy in the rain?
Well,
sand?
It doesn't get mucky.
It's not like mud, I guess.
Okay, it's better than mud, but
Better than mud.
You want to roll around in wet sand?
No. I mean, I don't want to.
No, but you're generally not at the playground if it's wet. In general.
Okay, fine. But would sand dry faster? Like if it rained the night before and your kid's like, I want to go to the playground in the morning. Are you confident sand would dry faster than, say, my choice, which would be mulch?
Oh, you're taking mulch over sand.
Mulch,
interesting.
Mulch, okay. I'm with you.
Or that like wood chips?
Yeah.
Is wood chips mulch?
No. Well, sort of, I guess.
I would consider wood chips mulch, but you're probably right, JD. It's like a square rectangle kind of thing. Sometimes it is. Listen,
today's playgrounds are basically rubber, right? Like they're plastic. I fucking hate them. They stink. Like, they do stink. Like burning plastic most of the time. Maybe it's because we're in Atlanta and it's hot here. But I grew up with sand and mulch or wood chips, and it was superior in my opinion. But I'm an old guy.
You grew up with cement, let's be honest.
Yes, I definitely had some cement, but most of the time it was sand and grass, and it was great. I loved it.
Well, but here's what they don't tell you about the sand playgrounds: stray cats are pooping in there.
Ooh,
I mean,
it's one giant litter box.
I mean, okay, yeah.
What do you mean, okay? And how often are they changing the sand?
Never. Well, maybe once a year. Maybe at the beginning of a school year, they'll refresh it, but not change it. I don't think add to it.
Yeah, dumping more.
That's a good point. I would also disagree that maybe your clothes don't get dirty because sand, brushes off, but your crevices get sandy.
Yeah.
You're bringing some of that sand home. It ain't all sand on the playground.
Oh, shoe sand?
Shoe sand, crack sand. It can get anywhere.
Yeah, exactly. And what is it? It's not a choking hazard. What the fuck is this? Has he never seen someone do the cinnamon challenge? You take a teaspoon of sand. Your kid's not coming out of there alive.
Who's taking a teaspoon of sand? No, like
the kids when they do their TikTok challenges, JD.
Okay, man. Oh, all right. Anyways, there's too much. The sand, the big problem is, you alluded to it with the cat shit. There's just stuff. Like, there's needles, there's God knows what under the sand. And that's a problem, for sure.
Yes. And if it's a windy day, it blows in your eyes. And it's not compliant. It's not ADA compliant. You know?
Oh, I believe that's true, yeah.
Can't get a wheelchair.
I feel like I haven't seen a sand playground for a while.
No, I don't think
Mulch pretty common.
Yeah.
And then, like JD's saying, like the rubbery stuff is everywhere. And that gets hot. That also gets really, really hot.
So hot.
Yeah.
The sandbox has become a metaphor for creativity. You know, it's like, just play around with it a bit. You know, it's like a sandbox, you know, whatever. Can we change that to mulch box? Can we associate mulch with creativity? Because I think that's the only thing keeping sand in business.
People think it's a creative art. You're not making a mulch castle.
You're not making a mulch castle.
Yeah.
Or a rubber castle. Or an artificial turf castle.
Right.
That's the thing that sand has.
Yeah. Sand is king of the beach for a reason.
Yeah. King of the beach. You're not going to get a mulch beach. I would go to it. Now, would I go to a mulch beach?
Yeah.
I would.
Yeah, of course you would.
Would I go to a artificial turf beach? Why not?
I don't know.
Kind of like a swimming pool.
Yeah, it's like a pool, I suppose. Yeah. So.
And is there no just grass? Are we just skipping over grass? Is that not an acceptable? Because kids run over it and they don't.
I think they do like to have a soft landing area, like underneath the monkey bars or something like that, so you would get a sand or a mulch.
Right.
Or the rubber.
Okay. Good to know. Last one here. It's weird to wish dead people happy birthday every year. Okay. This one I thought was interesting. Marking the fact that it's their birthday and taking a moment to think about their contributions to society. Okay, sure. But to be like, happy 84th birthday to John Lennon is just nonsensical. The guy only made it to 40. He's been dead longer than that. Life expectancy for a man born in 1940 is only 70 years. At what point do we stop counting? Now, seeing as how it's November 4th, I'd like to wish a happy 576th birthday to Alfonso II, King of Naples. From 1494 to 1495, a great couple years he had as the King of Naples. Devoted patron of Renaissance architecture and the arts, built new churches, roads, and aqueducts, and also had a reputation for being bloody, inhuman, and gluttonous. King Alfonso II of Naples, we salute you on your
King Alfonso
576th birthday. Anyways, kind of a good point. When do you stop? Because you're not going to be like, happy 130th birthday to John Lennon. At some point, you got to stop.
When do you call it? That's the question. I kind of like
Jim Morrison was never going to live past 40, probably, I'm guessing.
Yeah. He had a good run for him.
For him?
Yeah.
So it doesn't make sense to even think of Jim Morrison as like an 80, whatever year old.
True.
Right.
Hey, Keith Richards did it, though.
Yeah.
Probably never thought he'd be having people wish him this many happy birthdays in his life. I kind of like some of the arguments that this person is making.
Yeah.
Especially the lifespan argument where we should just, period, stop wishing happy birthday to people after they've reached life expectancy. They're like, you made it this far, so like, we're not saying anything else. We're just happy you're around.
Yeah.
You're supposed to live to be 70 or 74? Well, you got up to 70. That's all that counts.
Yeah.
So you just stop after whatever life expectancy was in the year they were born.
Yeah. I don't know why. I also do like you wishing somebody a happy birthday when they're over 500 years old. Like I think the 80 to 100 range, pointless. We don't need to be wishing fake happy birthdays then. But then once you get into like the hilarious nobody could live to be 400 years old sort of scenarios, then I want to wish happy birthdays to those people.
It's so much more fun to say, he would have been 510.
Yeah. I saw something today. We found a rare whale. It's been roaming the seas since 1697.
I saw that very same whale, and I don't believe that.
Sure.
Sorry, you can't just take a picture of something and put impact-style text on it and convince me that whale's 500 years old. I mean, maybe it is, but I don't. I mean, you're gonna need to show me a picture from a before shot.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. I want to see the first person that saw this in 1697. Ptolemy. Happy birthday to Ptolemy. Would have been 800
Happy birthday
today.
to Ptolemy. One of the great astronomers was wrong about nearly everything.
But we still names.
Respect him because he was the bridge to Copernicus, I believe, who was also wrong about a lot of things. Galileo, though, now there's an astronomer. He would have been very old today. Yeah. Kind of like you said, JD, do you think birthday is just the nice way of saying he would have been? Because I kind of think that's interesting.
Right.
Like, I don't know how old Kurt Cobain would have been today had he lived, but sometimes when I hear it, I'm like, oh, that's interesting to know.
It's melancholy, right? It's like if he should have lived to, he would have been, Kurt Cobain would have been what, close to 60, right?
I think 57 probably.
Yeah.
He's
Which
27
actually,
and 94.
did you see that thing that was like, was it Kate Blanchett or Helen Mirren was like, the sad thing about Kurt Cobain is that he never got to see email? Do you not? Did no one see this?
No.
He would have loved email.
There's only one thing left to do, and that's play subjective trivia. So, Trey, subjective trivia, it's just like regular trivia, except only I know the answer. Today's question, we have somehow managed to talk about these people on the show, and I'm not even sure if I should bring them up. But today's question is, rank the Costco guys in order, best to worst. So here's a photo in case you need reminding. You got, this is on the Jimmy Fallon show from last week. All the way on the left, you got Dad, that's AJ. In the middle, you got Big Justice. And then on the right, you got the Rizzler, who is not related to them. In case you did not know, the Rizzler is just another social media guy or kid who they picked up and were like, hey, would you like to be part of the greater Costco Guys universe? And he said yes. First of all, did anyone catch any clips of the Costco Guys on Jimmy Fallon?
I did not. I first heard about it this morning, actually. But
I watched the Rizzler giving Jimmy a tutorial on how to do the Riz face.
Okay, yeah. Well, people really turned on Jimmy Fallon. They were like, Jimmy Fallon was like really mean. He like looked so over it. And I'm like, we've really lost the desire for talk show hosts to make fun of their guests. Like, imagine like if these guys went on Letterman.
Oh my God. They'd be destroyed.
So he'd be like, yeah, I heard you bring the boom. And then they'd be like, yeah, David, we bring the boom. The boom, huh? Paul, they bring the boom, huh? Yeah, Dave, they bring the boom, huh? Yeah.
Yeah. Raz and the Rizzler.
As you know, Trey, I write my answer down on this card, so you know I'm not cheating. And I waited until the second I hit record to write down because number 3 spot, I'm like fairly certain, but the number 1 and 2, I kept going back and forth, but I have to commit to what I wrote here. So you got to match my answer. Rank the Costco guys in order, best to worst. So number 1 would be best, 3 is worst.
Do you want me to start with best to worst, or do you want me to 3, 2, 1 it for you?
However you want to do it.
Okay, I'm going number 3 at the bottom is Big Justice.
Wow.
Okay.
I think that, a lot of people say Big Justice, his heart's not in it anymore.
Oh no!
A lot of people look at the booms and they're like, he's not giving it his all the way he used to.
Wow.
And honestly, can you blame him? AJ brought in a non-family member to be the biggest star. He said, Big Justice, you're good, but you're no Rizzler. You got no Riz face. All you got is the boom. So for that reason, my final rankings would be Big Justice at 3, AJ at 2. The guy's the mastermind, the Svengali of the Costco guys. And then I got the Rizzler number 1. How can he not be number 1? Look at how cute he is. Look at the funny faces he does. I thought that when they joined up with the Rizzler, it really took things to the next level. I don't know if that's true, but I know that the Costco guys predated Moo Dang on my For You page.
Same.
And have also outlasted Moo Dang on my page. And a lot of that credit I give to AJ's drive and the Rizzler's just natural charisma.
Okay, JD, I hesitate to ask, but do you agree with this?
Yeah, I think I do, just simply because, you had Rizzler at number 1.
Number 1,
yeah. It's so rare that a new character that comes in sort of mid-run of a series just takes over. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm trying to think of a time when that's happened. You know, like.
Well, JD, it's interesting you say that because we do not have the same answer.
Oh.
And to me, the Rizzler is not the new character that became, the main character. He is Poochie to me. This is a very unpopular opinion. Okay. But I'm going Big Justice number 1. AJ number 2 and Rizzler number 3.
Big Justice! You're crazy.
AJ said, I can't believe the words that are coming out. AJ said he started the account by himself. And then one day, he pulled in Big Justice. And it was only when Big Justice came in that his content started skyrocketing. Okay. Big Justice is the secret sauce. Without him, AJ's nothing. It's like those two people from Atlanta with the Pookie, You Look Fire Tonight. She was just like a woman dressing in fancy outfits, doing get-readies with me. And only when Jet, I believe his name is, came in and started saying, Pookie, you look fire today, did it take off.
Right.
So you don't have Big Justice without AJ. Now, the same thing, AJ is the mastermind.
Yeah.
We've seen that video where he's like kind of being, not rude, I would say, but being a director, where he's showing you behind the scenes, he's saying, Big Justice, come on, man, you got to give a bigger boom on that. Or don't say this, say that. I think he's really good at what he does. I can't believe I'm saying that.
Exploiting
He's pulling
children?
the strings, yeah.
AJ was a former wrestler, and his name when he was a wrestler was, and this is very confusing, the American Power Child Eric Justice. Why Eric? So is he EJ? I didn't look any further into it. Or maybe AJ is American Justice, actually.
American Justice, sure.
Is that what it is?
Wow.
Is that known?
No, I don't know.
Okay. And the Rizzler, to me, I honestly find him annoying. I hate to say this about a child. It's not his fault. But this, like, overconfident kind of Lothario thing with a kid doing the mewing and touching his face. Every time I see the Rizzler, I feel like he's mocking me. And I can't handle it.
That's the Riz.
He's the worst, and he's not part of La Familia. So he's number 3 on my list. I'm sorry.
Wow, I can't believe this. I can't believe
I know. No one would
hater.
have my list. I know. No one's going to have my list. I mean, look, I'm so fucking crazy. I consider putting AJ number 1. I don't know, man.
He's the kingpin.
I think maybe. Yeah. I think you've convinced me almost.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Well, Trey, I'm not going to convince you, and that's fine. But even though you didn't get it right, you could still tell people where to find you.
You can find me on many social media platforms at Trey Kerby. Follow No Dunks Inc. as well. We do podcasts every day during the NBA season. And I feel like I would like to give some boom ratings on stuff, Okay. Costco has been overrun. They've got Costco on lock, so I'm looking for a different supermarket. Maybe we'll do
Sam's Club.
Sam's Club? Sam's Club. All right, what's a Sam's Club equivalent to a boom? Like instead of a Dr. Pepper, they have Mountain Holler. Or instead of Mountain Dew, they have Mountain Holler.
Yeah.
Dr. Thunder. So I need like a knockoff
Sam's
the
Club
boom.
Pow.
Yeah, the Pow. The Pow Patrol. That's what we're called.
Ooh.
Yeah, we go.
We bring
me
the
and my
pow!
kids. Yeah. I love it. I got 2 kids that I can make do stuff.
Yeah.
Sure,
Oh,
I've
yeah.
tried to keep them off social media for 10 years, but
Now's
I see the way AJ and Big Justice are living. They're on Jimmy Fallon. They're going to World Series games. Maybe I need to step my game up.
Yeah.
AJ's going to the AEW, man. I mean, this thing is taking off. And as much as Fallon tries to derail them and like there was one point where he's like, all right, taste this candy and rate it on the boom meter. And he's like, all right, go ahead. And Big Justice is like, Jimmy, we got to taste it first. I'm like, fucking, you're right, Jimmy Fallon sucks. And even though you 3 suck, you're better than Jimmy Fallon somehow. Wow. All right, I pulled it up here. What did I pull up here? Yes. Helen Mirren said, I always say it's so sad that Kurt Cobain died when he did because he never saw GPS. It's the most wonderful thing, my little blue spot walking down the street. I just find it completely magical and unbelievable. And then the next line in this article is, Kurt Cobain died by suicide in 1994. Now, to bring some context, Helen was discussing her experience with aging, and she said, I am older, I'm sure I'll go all pear-shaped soon, but I'm not interested in being young. I mean, I think she was basically just saying, like, the reward for living is you get to see all this cool stuff. I don't really think she's thinking about Kurt Cobain and GPS, but maybe she is. Maybe she is. Check us out on Patreon, patreon.com/isthisgood. If you have topics, email us at isthisgoodpod@gmail.com. We just brought the pow! Wait, maybe we can't do this, though.
Yeah, maybe it's got to be more like a punch.
Ooh, yeah.
Pow!
Well, they do the punch, though, too. Man.
Do
everything. They thought of everything.
Save something for the rest of us. Thanks for listening. Thanks to Trey for coming on. Thanks in advance for leaving a 5-star review for everyone. I'm Matt Austin, and this was good. We'll see you next week. No, we'll see you this week, actually, on Thursday.
Yeah.
Why do I say next week? Huh. Podcast over.